Yo, what's up guys? You got PokeaimMD here with some replays of the Smogon Premier League semifinals. Now, if you guys don't know, the Smogon Premier League is going on. My team has been out for about a week now, and this time I decided, well, since it's still going on and still high-level gameplay, I might as well share with you guys a few of the battles from this week that I was most looking forward to. I actually only have 4 battles here, but there are about 6 or 7 battles I think that I was really looking forward to. And just to give you guys a little spoiler, both teams, so there's 4 teams in semifinals, so I said both like it was 2, but both, or all 4 of them ended up tying with each other, right? So it was 6v6 for both of them, so there's actually tiebreakers going on. I don't know why I keep using the word both, but there's tiebreakers going on, and I'm going to hope to catch those. And if I don't catch those, I'll show you guys the replay of those, because I think those are going to be really good. So tiebreakers are going to determine who gets the finals. But anyway, this is one of the games I was looking forward to. It was Sun and Moon OU game, Ultra Sun and Moon OU game between ABR and C-demas. Just looking at team preview, I honestly really think that C-demas has the matchup. Though if that is Specs Hoopa, he really doesn't appreciate switching into it, but Magnezone being able to trap Kartana, basically if Kartana comes in, it's forced to double. If it's Scarf Kartana, that is, or even if it's SD, it's a little bit different, but if it's Scarf Kartana, Asfgerthrrth is the only thing he could really lock himself into to deal with Magnezone and not allow it to punish it or trap it. But then C-demas does have, by the way, I apologize if I'm saying your name wrong, dude. At least I'm not saying it as wrong as Blunder, but he does have a pincer which takes advantage of pretty much every move that Kartana locks itself into that's not Smart Strike and if rocks are not up. And pincer is actually really nice versus his team too, though he does have one of the best pincer answers in the game, which is Rotom Wash, so a really good pick on ABR's part, really good prep. The Magearna looks to be Assault Vest just based on team preview. Like he doesn't have a switch into, or he doesn't appreciate switching into Gren much, and just special attackers in general. And Lottie's, which C-demas does have, Lottie's actually really solid in this too, mainly because ABR doesn't lack a pursuit user, and if Ferrothorn is able to get up spikes, although he does have a Defogger and potentially Landorus and Rotom, if C-demas is able to get up spikes, Magearna can easily be worn down and Latios can put in a lot of work. But yeah, let's just start off the replay and get right into it. I'll be giving my thoughts, maybe pausing a couple times. I'll link all 4 replays down below, that just in case you guys just want to go through it yourself and you don't care about what I have to say. But anyway, so we do see lead Latios versus lead Rotom, very solid lead on his part. Automatically puts ABR in a defensive position because it's more than likely not Specs. Specs Latios isn't running around. He knows it's not Mega as well because you do have a pincer, unless this boy is trying to rock a regular pincer in semifinals. So C-demas goes hard for the damage that turn and goes right for a Shattered Psyche, does absolutely nothing to Magearna, and decides right here to go for Earthquake. Now, I actually agree with that Earthquake play a lot. This weakens Magearna for Pincer. Now it's in range of Pincer if it has Earthquake itself. So that puts Pincer in range, or that puts Magearna in range of a neutral Pincer. And chances were that ABR was going to go for Volt Switch or Hidden Power Fire there. I say that because his initial switch-in, C-demas' initial switch-in, would have more than likely been Ferrothorn. So an HP Fire or a Volt Switch was the most the attacks that were more likely to come out. So while he did kind of lose out a lot on turn 1, just because he went for Shattered Psyche, I think he just really prematurely wanted to weaken the hell out of it for Pincer, which makes sense, you know, because Pincer couldn't go ham on him if Rotom is weakened. But he got a lot of that return too. So this does allow Hoopa Unbound, and this thing is a threat whether it's Specs or Bandit. Tyranitar is his best switch, I agree, as he does go for the Dark Pulse, and that looks to be Specs damage, 24%, Tyranitar and Sand resisting it. So ABR makes a good play here. It realizes that if he switches out, Pursuit is pretty much going to lose him a Mon, and his team doesn't like switching in on Bandit Crunch as well. So this is really smart on his part, just staying in, allowing Hoopa to go down to Pursuit, knowing that Bandit Crunch or Stone Edge kind of nabbed him one, looking at how weak Magearna was. But C-demas goes hard Pincer, and he wanted to weaken this Landorus, but it's gonna cost him his Pincer right now. So I don't agree with that play. If he had a Defogger, it was either Latios or Landorus, and I guess weakening it so Latios can put in work makes sense because now it's in range of Latios' Psychic. But I feel like Ferrothorn or even Landorus was useful there, like specifically Ferrothorn too, because Ferrothorn loses to Rotom's Will-O-Wisp, HP Fire from Magearna, Close Comment from Gallade, and even if Gallade ends up SDing up on Ferrothorn, you still have Pinsir in the back to go for quick attack. I get that you get it in before rocks, but it just lost him his Pinsir, which I felt like really teared through his team. So definitely not the best turn for C-demas right there. But Latios is going to come out. ABR opts to go right back out to Magearna. Smart man. Psychic looks to put him in range of Earthquake, but this was really huge as well. Ends up getting a lower roll than last time and loses his Latios to Flare Cannon. So that's really big because now it's going to be extremely tough for C-demas to break through Rotom. So Magnezone is going to come out. Magearna's Trap, so it's a safe Volt Switch for him, as he is going to go out to Landers. Landers makes sense. More than likely trying to stop Gallade from coming out. And might be Scarf Landers, I'm not entirely sure. That damage did absolutely nothing. But he sends out to Magnezone, as Rotom is going to throw off a Will. It's pretty much free. Nothing on his team appreciates a burn. And if Magnezone is weakened, again, I talked about Sacred Sword doing a lot to his team if it's Scarf Kartana. So Volt Switches right now, goes right on to Gallade. And this is pretty much the beginning of the end because he's forced to go Lando here. And as you can see, weak to Sacred Sword, weak to Sacred Sword, weak to Sacred Sword, and in range of it. So he does not have to predict at all. Basically, now he just has to make the correct switches and just punish whatever comes in. Like every single turn Magnezone comes in, it's just taking the damage for 100% range of Sacred Sword. So goes Rotom on the Flash Cannon, relatively safe. And regardless of C-demas staying in or not, like right here, ABR can either go for Volt Switch, Hydro Pump, it does not matter. Ends up making the really safe play since Flash Cannon wasn't doing anything, and goes for the Will-O-Wisp, nabs it on Lando. This also would have nabbed it on Ferrothorn. Either or would have been great. And getting rid of Lando means that his team is in Sacred Sword range. So all he has to do is sack this Rotom right here. Turns out Hydro Pump actually knocks out the Tyranitar at that range. So again, he can just Volt Switch right now. Goes right out to Lando, really safe because you're getting Gallade after or even Kartana. And Lando is just necessarily to weaken him. Like even if Ferrothorn goes for Leech Seed, it doesn't matter. Lando's are really low, and like Ferrothorn's not going to be recovering as much. Plus, he can't switch into Magnezone. So basically, crit dare did not matter at all. It just meant that he could go out into Scarf Kartana, and I'm positive it's Scarf. I'm also positive that the Magnezone was Scarf because Scarf Zone Bliss Pinsir has been a core since Mega Pinsir has been released, and they're really good together. But either way, Scarf Kartana is able to win right there with the Sacred Sword. So a few big turns again. Turn 1 was pretty huge because like if he went for Earthquake twice, it would have weakened Magearna. But I think that if he revealed Earthquake as well, ABR would have changed up how he played. So I still agree with turn 1 because he still weakened Magearna to be in range of another Earthquake. Depending on the roll, but him getting that roll or not getting that roll, Latios is pretty big. It would have at least been helpful with dealing with Rotom or giving him Pivot for Rotom. Obviously, Gallade would have been a big problem because Latios cannot knock out Gallade from full, whereas Gallade can knock out Latios with potentially Ice Punch or even knock off at the range it was at, since it did take a little bit of chip damage. And bringing in Pinsir on Landorus. I understand if it was like defensive Landorus, I understand that completely because you want to weaken that thing for Latios and then you could defog later with your own Landorus and just freely click Frustration. But losing it to the Supersonic Sky Strike was just so big. But well played on ABR's part for sure. But let's talk about another game that I was really looking forward to, Crystal versus Pat. Love Crystal, love watching him play. And I also love the team he picked. This is something that I would easily use in a Showdown Live. Just Spikes plus Mega Sharpedo, one of my favorite ways of playing. If he had an Ampon, that's the only way that it could have been better. Like this team could have been better. But yeah, so we have a Rapid Spinner, we have Mega Houndoom, which is a giant threat. Best answer to it is Pedestrian Gliscor or Sharpedo outspeeding it, or Swampert being healthy. But Swampert's pretty pressured by Rhyperior, especially if it's like an Ice Punch or Avalanche set, so you're not going to be switching your Gliscor on that. But let's just get into it. So we see Swampert versus Togekiss. Smart switch going directly into Klefki. You don't want to be, Air Slash that. Plus Klefki can potentially Toxic him if anything. But we do see a Trick turn 1. Very solid play, crippling the Klefki the entirety of the match. And goes right out to Rhyperior on the Thunder Wave. So really nice, gets up rocks. Able to bring out his Latias right here as Swampert is going to go for its own rocks. And this is again really nice because as you can see, this Latias is a pain for him to switch into, especially because it has Life Orb Psychic, so that 2 goes Cobalion. Ice Beam is definitely an option. Draco is also an option. So any damage off on Klefki is damage that's there to stay. He can't recover anything with leftovers. But Rhyperior comes back and he is going to double out into Gliscor, so really nice play on his part. Maybe he's scouting for HP Fire or not trying to let the dog come in, because the dog is allowed to come in since you can't use prankster moves on it, and he does really Ice Punch. So really smart, Crystal respecting the Rhyperior, going out to Swampert. So this should be a free Scald for him, honestly. Yeah, his Latias is going to come in, and again, still Ice Punch is still very nice because you're putting Swampert in range of the dog, but Latias does reveal Roost, as he is able to go out to Tentacruel right now, as Klefki is going to double out into Mungus. So really solid play as well. Looks like we see no item on Tentacruel, so I'm assuming that's Z Haze. Ghost of Spore allows Togekiss to go to sleep. I mean, offensive Togekiss would have lost to an SD Gliscor potentially, and also wouldn't have done too much anyway. But double out to Cobalion, because I think it dealt with the switch that he would make right there out into Lati or even Scizor. But goes Klefki on the Lati again, not wanting to get Psychic, and is able to Thunder Wave the Tentacruel. So this is smart, able to Thunder Wave Tentacruel, but at the same time Tentacruel is just able to get rid of the rocks right there, and at the same time also weakening Klefki. That burn's really huge too, because it means now it goes down to Life Orb Psychic. So right out to Swampert he goes, as he throws off another Scald and gets the burn on Swampert. So really smart playing on Pack's part. Obviously, you know, he just got 2 burns, but I'm going to give him credit where credit's due. Really nice, because he noticed that, like, he didn't really have a switch into that. So gets a Rocks right here, and now Psychic pretty much nabs a KO. Again, it's really smart, able to get rid of keys. However, Sharpedo is going to come out, and this is where Crystal makes a really... Is this where he makes the aggressive play? Nope, just makes the Protect play. Okay. So Protect was safe anyway, because you saw Life Orb on Lati, so it's not like it was Z Draco or anything. Goes for Protect again on the Rhyperior. This one lets him scout for a potential double, so I agree with that play, and also can potentially give him Amoonguss now as a switch, and he does go Amoonguss. So I'm not sure if Amoonguss is actually 2-hit KO'd by... Yeah, that's some big damage from Rhyperior, but that's not a 2-hit KO. And Rhyperior coming in again, I talked about how Pack pressures him a lot, but doubles out into Sharpedo. Very solid play, expecting the Tentacruel to want to come out, and also getting regen on Amoonguss, so, and doubles right back. So that was really smart, because he threatened Tentacruel with Psychic Fangs. Tentacruel wants to try and spin. Oh, look how fast they're going now. And doubles right back out into Sharpedo. So throws off an Ice Fang. Again, really aggressive, not even attacking what's in front of him, but attacking potentially Rhyperior coming out. So Ice Fang, more likely Psychic Fang's Crunch is its moveset. Able to 2-hit KO the Togekiss, which means that he does get another free Spore when it comes in. Of course, the dude has you know, a paralyzed Tentacruel. But right here goes Amoonguss. That Earthquake did so much, and Pack ends up staying in, going for the Earthquake again, either going for a roll or potentially trying to catch the Sharpedo upon switch, and doesn't work out for him because he loses so much health. And this is going to be really crucial for the... This is going to be really crucial for the Sharpedo in the back. Of course, Mega Houndoom is looking ridiculously threatening right now. Swampert is easily in range of Dark Pulse, and the Cobalion is also, you know, always in range. So it makes a really aggressive play out to Sharpedo, and makes another aggressive play right here, expecting him to want to switch out, predicting his Protect, and that pretty much nabs him a KO right now because of that Crunch. He's able to 2-hit KO the Rhyperior, at the same time still outspeed Doom and whatnot. Now, Scizor is going to come out. If this is Bandit Pursuit, I could deal with Sharpedo right there, but goes for U-turn as opposed to going for a potential Pursuit. That is Bandit though, and is able to bring in Dog. Now this does give Dog a KO because he could just Mega Evolve and safely click Dark Pulse. No point in clicking Fire Blast, because you know, Dark Pulse and a Fire move will knock out the Cobalion anyway. And right here he goes for Fire Blast versus Gliscor and loses Houndoom. I'm thinking that Pack, the way he's thinking about dealing with Cobalion is with his Life Orb Lati, which makes sense. Psychic is going to do a chunk anyway, and you know, Life Orb Psychic plus switching in on Scizor makes sense. Plus potentially Bullet Punching through his team. Obviously he does have, you know, Swampert, but with Gliscor being that low Bullet Punch, we'll be able to knock it out. Bandit Bullet Punch, and a Bandit Bullet Punch into Cobalion plus Life Orb Psychic does a number to it. So I lose his Dog, plus it would not have been able to outspeed the Lati right here, but he's able to go right out into his Latias right now, reveals the Ice Beam, is able to knock out Gliscor, and right here, man, right here, alright, this is why I like watching Crystal play. He Mega Evolves immediately and goes for Crunch to punish any initial switch in, and Scizor goes down, and this is big because I'm pretty sure this means that Lati can't actually touch Sharpedo. I don't know if it's Ice Beam, Psychic, Calm Mind, Roost, but he's able to just pick up another KO at Crunch, and Tentacruel is going to go down to Crunch as well. So really, really, really aggressive plays with Shark, and I loved it because he really pressured Pac the entire game. If Scizor had Pursuit, that's the only play I probably would have done differently than Pac, and I think that would have changed the outcome of the battle for sure. Because he had Ice Beam on Latias, as you guys saw, so Gliscor was never a factor, ever. But I think if he did have Pursuit and he went for it there, I understand. Actually, no, yeah. Because, like, yeah, if he had Pursuit, I think he should have went for it there. But at the same time, because if you think about it, Dog was still healthy enough to take a hit, right? And Sharpedo, we're just going to assume it had Psychic Fangs. He would have went for a Water move if he was predicting the right period, if he had it instead of Ice Fang, right? We're going to assume it was Crunch, Psychic Fang, and Ice Fang, right? I think that's a really safe assumption, especially in the UU tier where the move is. So if Scizor did have Pursuit, it might have had Knockoff. So, yeah, but if he did have Pursuit and he got that play right there, Sharpedo would have went down, and I think Life Orb Lottie would have went in. But Creasel just played really, really aggressively, and it was able to just pull out the victory for him. So I love the way he played Shark. I really do. And let's go on to another replay that I was looking forward to. So we have updated Kendall versus Haya. Is that how you say his name? I think it's how you say his name. And updated Kendall has been doing really, really, really well in ORAS OU. We see no Specs Caldio though. Unimpressed. But Mega Metagross is really destructive versus Hyatt. I mean, like, the only real answer is Mega Scizor, which he does happen to have, but he has Pokemon like Weavile, even Clefable with Fire Move, Rotom, Garchomp. Pretty much everything on his team can threaten the Scizor with either a super effective move, big damage with Knockoff prior to Mega Evolving, and Will-O-Wisp, plus Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet. So, but yeah, Metagross is a huge threat. Let's just get into this game. So we see Clefable lead versus Rotom. And reveals the Thunder Wave turn 1. Hey, man, that wins games. So we see Rocks versus Thunder Wave. Rotom is going to Volt Switch out. More than likely go out to Clefable, which is a really safe mid-ground play if he does have Thunder Wave of his own. And he reveals Knockoff. So we're going to assume that this thing does not have Thunder Wave itself. It's going to be Knockoff, Moonblast, Stealth Rock, and Softball. That should be its set. So also, it can't touch Metagross, period. So he's able to bring Clef right here. Goes right for the Calm Mind just to threaten anything. And that's a really smart play, too, because if he went initially into Scizor, it would be able to do a lot of work, but doubles out right now into the Rotom on the Gliscor, and I think he was scouting for Ice Beam, just in case it was Bolt Beam class, so that makes sense, because Ice Beam plus Flamethrower is never run, but Ice Beam Thunderbolt is ran at times, and also Moonblast Thunderbolt. So he's able to bring in his Metagross, goes right for the Meteor Mash on the Scizor coming in, and this does give him the opportunity to get in Garchomp. And this means that he can get up Rocks. He actually hard doubles out into Scizor too. To get damage, I think, with Clefable. Like, I think instead of roosting, he wanted to get damage off with Clef. But the fact that Clefable got full paralyzed there is huge, because not only does he have Rocks, but if something goes down, nothing even has to go down, because he'd always go right to Mega Metagross. But let's say Scizor comes back in, right, on Meteor Mash. If Metagross gets the attack raise, Meteor Mash into anything will knock out Mega Scizor. So gets a Rocks right there, really, really big full para, and he does get in the free Metagross, as Clefable is going to go for Soft Mode. And this potentially means a kill. Like I said, depending on its set, like if he has Hammer Arm, I don't know if it actually does 35% to him, but able to go Rotom on the Roost. Looks like he didn't have anything to knock him out. I mean, if it's Max Defense Scizor, which, I mean, it's little to nothing. I don't know the Hammer Arm calc, but if it had it, I don't know if it actually KO'd, but able to bring right back in the Mega Metagross. And what he does right now is, again, really smart. He's trying to pressure the Scizor. Basically, by Garchomp coming in, it says, hey, I have Fire Blast, switch the hell out. And it also can't let Scizor attack because of Rough Skin and Rocky Helmet. So doubles right back out into the Metagross right here, and doubles right back out into Garchomp, again, really pressuring that Scizor. So really solid plays on his part. They're switching fast as hell. And as he's able to go Rotom, which is nice too, because it covers Gliscor as well as the Scizor switching. So goes for Hydro Pump, gets an unfortunate crit, as he is going to go for Knockoff, as Gliscor is going to come back out on a double Hydro Pump. So really, really, really solid play right there for sure, because Gliscor is always in range of Metagross, even if it doesn't have Ice Punch. And this just means that he can Volt Switch out into Metagross one more time if he wants to. Again, it's pretty free. Knockoff isn't going to do too much, and it prevents him from staying in. So this kind of ensures a KO, depending on how he plays. Volcanion comes out. Volcanion comes out and takes the Meteor Mash. Now, I'm going to talk about this turn right here, because I really thought that updated Kendall was playing super well, especially considering Scizor gives him a problem, or gives him problems, just because Bullet Punch naturally gives him problems, but like he has outs for it. I mentioned, the big damage from Bandit Knockoff, Rotom potentially Thunder Waving it, Clefable potentially having a fire move, things like that. Rough Skin, Rocky Helmet, Latios could have HP Fire. So I understand. So while I think that Scizor did give him problems, I mentioned how he can deal with it, right? Now, the roll on a no HP Volcanion, I think it does up to 73 or 74% with Tough Claws Thunder Punch, and I can't get behind this play. I really can't get behind this play. He goes for Thunder Punch here, and it looks like it's a bulkier Volcanion, and he loses the Metagross. Now, I really can't get behind this play because I think Mega Metagross came in and pressured the hell out of High A's team, and Updated Kendall was doing so well too. Like, he was playing it really well to pressure. Like, I was commentating this live on stream, and I was really enjoying it because I thought that, it would give him issues, even though he has ways of dealing with it, but I can't get behind that play, man. It's like Thunder Punch is right there, doesn't knock off Volcanion. It's not like he had the best switch-ins for it. I mean, but either way, if Volcanion switched out and came back in with rocks, Thunder Punch was, it was in range of Thunder Punch. So losing Mega Metagross, that's really big, as he is able to go out into Garchomp. Now, Garchomp actually turns out to be faster than a Max V Volcanion as well, and he's able to get off crucial damage with Steam Eruption, so that's really big as well. Weavile comes out, more than likely expecting the Gliscor to want to go for Roost here. But yeah, that was just, that Metagross play, I can't get behind that, man. And goes for Bandit Pursuit. So he's fighting back. He's still fighting back. He's keeping Gliscor low. He's making it so Gliscor can't actually go in range of the... Gliscor can't actually be in range of the Dragon Tail. So he double pursuits here. I understand that because he more than likely expected High A to want to double out into Gliscor one more time, predicting the Clefable. So like I get that play because that gives the Gliscor Roost. This also covered Tornadus double as well, but that gives Gliscor Roost, and he gets bailed out because of the full para right there. So he's gonna switch out to Clef right now. As High A is just gonna throw off a Moonblast, gets a crit, so kind of forces Clefable to recover right here. But he throws off a Moonblast himself because he doesn't want the I guess a double crit. He doesn't want the Gliscor coming in and recovering. He's already done a lot for it, but doubles out into his Weavile right now, as he is going to go Gliscor, and really nice on Updated Kendall's part. Of course, the Clefable is low, but this means that he can go right for Bandit Pursuit, and it actually does not pick up the KO. I was really surprised that it didn't pick up the KO at that percentage. I don't know if that was a roll or whatnot, but basically, Clefable's super low, and all that was for not. But Tyranitar is going to come in on the Latios, and that's his best switch, and we do see a Spec Surf come out on the T-Tar. Looks like that is Scarf Tar though, just based on the damage, and Kanto makes a good play, getting rid of the Tyranitar early on with Latios. So not early on, turn 34, but getting rid of the Tyranitar with Latios as Tornadus is just able to go for U-turn. And I understand him saving Clefable, by the way, because one of the Clefables is paralyzed and the other one is not. So this is basically his best opportunity to be able to just softball it up and get his Clef back at a good percentage. Defensive Scizor actually doesn't 2-hit KO max defense Clefable. That's something you guys should know. But goes for Swords Dance right here on the Rotom coming in. If he has Facade, I can deal with it, but I don't think he wants to mess around with a Hydro Pump crit. Plus, he can stall out some Hydro Pumps as well. But Updated Kendall does connect 2 Hydro Pumps, so Clefable is gone. Really nice for Weavile, especially because no Dark Resist anymore. As Tornadus is going to come out and go for the Hurricane, and Kanto is going to dodge that. I mean, it wouldn't have knocked out Rotom anyway, but he is able to get that para off and go right back on the Clef as he dodges another Hurricane. And doubles back out to Rotom right here, expecting the Gliscor to want to come out. So, again, if it is Facade, it does knock him out, but I guess he just doesn't want to risk random speed on Rotom, or at the same time, maybe it's just knockoff, so he can't actually touch it. But misses the Hydro Pump right there. Means he can go for Volt Switch, knockout the Tornadus. So, up to the Kendall is fighting back, right? Clef comes out. Gonna go for Softball right here and more than likely just sack the Rotom. So that puts Clefable out of range of Scizor's Bullet Punch, and if it does have Flamethrower, it can still deal with Scizor at the range it's at, and it does 2-hit KO before Bullet Punch 2-hit KOs him. And we do see that he does have Ice Fang. So no Facade, he has Ice Fang. Gliscor, Weavile's gonna come out. Now, this is a potential 50-50 because Scizor is in range of Bandit Knockoff. Bandit Knockoff can 2-hit KO. Weavile's at 26%. And, he gets the play right here. Basically, he goes for knockoff on the Scizor switch. And so Kanto is fighting back. Now, let's think about this a little bit. So the reason why this is 50-50 is because if he goes for knockoff again and Scizor stays in and doesn't go for Bullet Punch, he obviously knocks out Scizor, and then the game literally just comes down to him hitting Ice Crash because he's at 26%. He only takes 25% from Stealth Rock, so he'd be able to switch in again. So he made the play he needed to put himself in this position. Now, if Scissor does go for Bullet Punch and Updated Cannon stays in, he loses. If Scissor goes for Bullet Punch and Updated Cannon switches out into Garchomp, again, it literally comes down to Ice Crash hitting because Rough Skin plus Rocky Helmet will be able to get rid of Scizor. So Updated Cannon ends up switching out to Garchomp right here, trying to win that 50-50, and High A goes for the Roost. So that pretty much lost him the game right there. Goes for Roost again. Expecting the Dragon Tail, maybe not expecting the what's it called, the Fire Blast, as Weavile is gonna come out. And honestly, I feel like he could have just stayed in with Gliscor. There was a turn where if he just SD'd up, he won the game. I'm pretty sure, but there's nothing Clefable can do to beat Scizor plus that Gliscor. There was a turn earlier that I think I missed, but all he had to do was like SD up with Scizor if he had it and he won. But Clefable reveals a Flamethrower, and Gliscor only has to go for the Earthquake. Weavile dies to Hazards anyway, as Clefable goes for Calm Mind, expecting the Roost, and basically High is able to win with this Gliscor right here. There was some turn though. Like, I feel like if there was one turn I felt like I was missing because I talked about it on my stream, but. Yeah, Updated Cannon made the plays to come back into the game to at least put himself in a position to win 50% of the time, get a 50-50 right, whatnot. But the, well, it also came down to Ice Crash, but I really just don't agree with that Volcanion play. And I'm sure he regrets it as well because I saw how he reacted as well. Like, I'm sure he regrets that play. But, because Metagross would have just went ham versus them, especially because he was playing it so well, I feel like. And everything pressured Scizor, right? The only thing that actually gave it a free softball, or a free softball, right? A free Roost was Metagross, and he kept doubling. Like, literally anything he doubled out to pressured it. So, yeah. Good games to High and Updated Cannon, of course. But like I just had Metagross play versus Volcanion was pretty big. Now, this is the last game that I was looking forward to. I mean, a few other games, but this is the last one I want to talk about. And my boy Rosco 1337. I don't know if you guys remember him. He used to upload, one of the OGs. A great friend of mine. Met him on Purple Surge and whatnot. And he's been a friend of mine for about 8 years now, so it's kind of ridiculous. But he plays DPOU and he loves DPOU, and he's probably currently one of the most consistent and also one of the most consistently lucky DPP players. Like I'd rank him in luck this SPL. I'd rank him in luck over Tomahome's Jirachi, and that's a big thing because Tomahome beats Heatrans 1v1, leftovers Heatrans 1v1 with Spit Up Jirachi, and you only do a collective damage on 1% turn, right? Which is actually impossible, like, to beat them. But I was like, Roscoe's been really, really lucky this game, and he's playing Blouin, who's been playing well this season as well. So let's see how we go. It's DPOU, Gen 4 OU, no team preview. So we see Heatran lead versus Machamp. That's a beautiful lead right here because if Roscoe's leading Heatran, that thing is specs overheat. So Machamp could be running Focus Sash. I honestly think Focus Sash is the best item on Machamp right now, but it looks like Blouin was running the Lumberry variant of it, or maybe even Custap. So Rosco throws off a Specs Overheat as Tyranitar is going to come in, and that's beautiful when you see Tyranitar as an initial switch into Specs Overheat because now Tyranitar doesn't appreciate switching into it again. So goes right back out, goes out to Jirachi on either expected, honestly a Crunch or Stone Edge right there, probably expecting the switch, and Jirachi would have taken an Earthquake as well, and goes right for the U-turn as he's able to bring right back in this Heatran. And again, that Tyranitar is not going to appreciate it. Rosco's going to throw off a Specs Over, and Dragonite just dies, guys. He gets a crit on the incoming Dragonite, so Dragonite goes down. Now, if Dragonite plus T-Tar was your initial switch-ins, you don't switch in well to a Specs Heatran, and that crit was huge. Obviously, getting rid of Dragonite, so this Specs Tran is just gonna be able to put in work. But we see Machamp come back out as Rosco is gonna reveal the physically defensive Zapdos right here. Obviously, like I said, it wasn't Focus Sash Machamp. He probably would have stayed in turn 1 and went for the Dynamic Punch if it was, but it's more than likely Lumberry. But doubles out into Jirachi on either the Stone Edge or Ice Punch as Blouin does go for that. And all he has to do is get one flinch right here. And basically one flinch will ensure that Machamp does go down. However, Blouin ends up not getting flinched. But this does mean he can go right back out in Heatran and he can just throw off a Flamethrower. Flamethrower honestly just does the job. And this is why I love Specs Tran in some matchups, like when you have that sort of thing going on. Now, Blouin makes an exceptionally good play, trying to come back from, the misfortune of Dragonite and goes for Fire Blast on Heatran, expecting like a Breloom to want to come out. So really, really solid play on his part. But this does give him Toxic or Breloom. And either way, you can just go right for Mach Punch right there, and it will be able to deal with Tyranitar. So again, when that Mon comes out, when Heatran comes out, it just puts in work. So right back down Heatran, as Jirachi does go for the Psychic. Now, HP Ground is definitely a threat, but that's why Rosco is actually going to double out into Blissey, and really solid play too, scouting for that HP Ground. And Blissey really gives him problems, especially because we saw Psychic on Jirachi, so we're going to assume that's just Psychic Super Rashi. If it was Wish Come Mine, that would be, you wouldn't go for that Psychic. You would probably have gone for HP Ground, but yeah, Blissey is a problem, especially because he can just click Seismic Toss. And he's smart to go for Seismic Toss too, because that does either KO Machamp or put Machamp in range of Sand. So, I'm going to go for Seismic Toss, and I realize, like, if this Blissey does have Thunder Wave, it makes sense why he's not going for it, just because, again, Machamp is more than likely Lumberry. But Softball's up here. Look at this Blissey's nickname relationship. I hate Rosco. He's named his Heatran Snapshot since Generation 4, but gets up rocks there, as Bronzong is going to come in. As Starmie can come in on that, really nice. Roscoe's not going to bother risking the Heatran, as Blouin does go for the Earthquake trying to catch it, but this does allow Rosco to weaken the Bronzong with the Hydro Pump. And this is actually pretty bad too for Blouin too, because he doesn't appreciate coming in on Hydro Pumps at all, I've seen, but does make the good play of going out into Jirachi on the Rapid Spin. Rosco can either go hard Blissey, which pretty much walls it, or double out to Starmie, which also would have dealt with really any double that Rosco can make. Again, it's more so about stalling out the recovers now, because at this point, Starmie can't do crap. Starmie can't do crap to Blissey. Like, his team cannot do crap to Blissey outside of Machamp. And I don't think Rosco is going to risk his Blissey versus a Machamp ever. So, gets up rocks there. Pretty much forcing recovers and stalling out Softball. We'll just fast forward a little bit as he does bring in Bronzong right now. As he goes for Seismic Toss, he's going to switch out into Starmie. Again, this covered Explosion, is also covered Rocks. So Starmie isn't as useful, though it did obviously have to be Machamp, but sort of Zapdos to knock it out, and it just makes sense. He went for the Hail Mary Explosion there, catches Starmie, as Heatran could come right out. And the thing is, like, Starmie actually does knock out Tram with Hydro Pump, so Blouin makes a really nice play, expecting the Blissey to want to come out, and goes right back out into Machamp right there, and then goes for Stone Edge on the Zapdos switch. Let's see if this thing was actually Cuss That Bear. I'm pretty sure it's Lum. Yep, Cuss That. So again, it was Cuss That Bear. Machamp able to pick up a 2-8 KO. However, Rosco can go right back out into Heatran and just click Specs Overheat, and not even Starmie takes a Specs Overheat. He does get a crit here, but I'll show you guys the calc, because I'll show you guys the calc real quick, because that crit did not matter at all. This is Specs Tran. Like, Specs Tran is so hard. OU Choice Spec, sure. Starmie, I'm pretty sure that crit did not matter at all. It's just max HP, yeah. Why does it not have Overheat? Who runs Specs Tran without Overheat? Yeah, it does 66 minimum to max HP Starmie, and he was at 63, so that crit did not matter. Starmie does go down, but I don't know why he put the ... But yeah, Specs Heatran always KO'd Starmie there, unless he was running like Spadef investment and like Spadef plus HP. But Blissey comes out on the Jirachi. Rosco not wanting to throw away the game, realizing that if he does have if he Thunder Waves Jirachi, basically Heatran will win anyway. Plus, he has Sewer Power in the back as well, with Breloom to do damage, and Heatran can still outspeed Machamp. Like, you can't deny the fact that the crit on Dragonite was huge. But Jirachi does get a crit right here. So maybe potentially fighting back? I don't think so, though. I don't think it's even enough at this point, because Rosco just softballs up and then just clicks Seismic Toss to the point of Heatran being able to come out and just click Flamethrower and knock him out. So that's what he goes for right now. As Jirachi goes for another Calm Mind. Doesn't matter, because after another softball, Specs Flamethrower knocks out Jirachi anyway. It's Specs Tran. So, gonna go right for the Psychic. Fails to KO Blissey. All he has to do is click softball, or click Seismic Toss one more time. Again, he's like just putting in a range of either Breloom or Heatran. As Jirachi does get full paralyzed right there. Again, at that point, Heatran finished him off. And yeah, that's gonna be game. So the crit on Dragonite was huge. It was absolutely huge. Getting rid of Dragonite, if it was a Roost variant too, like it would have been an issue for Rosco as well. Especially if it was like Roost, Draco, Flamethrower, Superpower, would have been a huge issue because it picks up a KO if it predicts right, or even if it doesn't predict right. But outside of that, the crit on Starmie did not matter at all. That specs over, it KO'd. But yeah, Rosco ended up winning versus Blouin. It was a solid game, you know, outside of that turn right there. But this is one of the matchups where just Specs Krang goes in as well. You could also argue that, you know, Rosco would have had a Jirachi if Machamp didn't break through, which odds were in Rosco's favor. But either way, I hope you guys all enjoyed me commentating these games. I definitely expect some Showdown lives later today, and I'll catch you guys later, and hopefully I can catch tiebreakers. So goodbye, my friends.